Food that connects cultures and history and is rich with health benefits.
And this is no ordinary chocolate. Yummy! Today on Caprial and John's Kitchen, I get to visit one of the only factories in the country producing organic chocolate.
And she even brought some back.
We'll use this luscious chocolate to create smoky black bean soup with chocolate.
And chocolate truffle tart, chocolate nib crust.
National funding for Caprial and John's Kitchen was provided by Travel Oregon. Travel information is available at traveloregon.com.
And by Decor, ranges, wall ovens, cooktops, dishwashers, and outdoor grills for discerning cooks. Available nationwide at select dealers and showrooms. Decor. And Shun Cutlery, Shun by Kai USA Limited. Cutlery for the ultimate kitchen connoisseur, available at fine cutlery and kitchen stores. And by Pear Bureau Northwest.
Hi, welcome to Caprial and John's Kitchen. I'm Caprial.
And I'm John.
And today is all about chocolates.
Now, chocolate's not just for desserts only. We're going to use it in something else today.
A little bit of savory today. So you can get your chocolate both sweet and savory today.
I like that idea.
You know, if you eat really nice dark chocolate, an ounce a day, it will extend your life by 3 years.
And they also said if you eat a little piece of chocolate right before dinner, you won't eat as much.
And it gives you sort of that euphoria feeling like you're in love.
Ooh.
So there's nothing like chocolate.
Let's start cooking with chocolate here.
All right, so the first thing we're gonna make is a little smoky black bean soup, and we're gonna finish this with a little bitter chocolate, just to give it some sheen, and it just gives it a nice little viscosity.
Right, now to start our soup off with, we're gonna make this thing called a
Sofrito.
Sofrito is kind of like a mirepoix,
Right.
which is onions, carrots, and celery.
Right.
But this one has some peppers in it.
Has a little bit of peppers in it, and it has some garlic in it. I've put leeks in it before. It's just sort of the start to a lot of different soups.
And sometimes we put even bacon in it.
Yep, sometimes
So,
I throw a little bacon in it.
We're gonna add our onions into the food processor. They're already chopped up a little bit. It's best to chop them up a little bit before you put them in.
Yeah, you don't want to put a whole onion in there.
It won't work.
It's gonna roll around.
And then we have some red peppers that we're gonna put in there.
And also, these are beautifully diced because Lisa's back there working hard away, but it could be just rough chopped. It doesn't have to be perfect.
And we have some carrots that we're gonna add in there.
Mm-hmm.
And of course,
Some garlic.
some lovely garlic.
Just a good teaspoonful of chopped garlic.
Maybe a little bit more.
And then you want to rough chop this, that's hard to say, in the food processor. It just makes it easier to do. That's probably good, don't you think?
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't even need my spatula.
All right, so we have a big pan on. I'm going to cover the bottom with extra virgin olive oil. Johnny, you want to put the...
hot. So let's add our sofrito. And what we want to do with this is kind of get these vegetables nice and caramelized in here.
You want them to just start to brown a little bit because that nice little bit of caramelization on the vegetables really starts to give them some nice flavor. John, can I have that spat? All right, so we just get those in and let them start sauteing away. And like I said, you could add, depending on the soup that you do, you could add mushrooms, you could add leeks, you could add dry mushrooms to this. You name it, you can add it to this.
Okay, so
I'll put a little more olive oil in there.
More olive oil?
Just a little bit.
So we're just gonna let this sit here for a little while till it gets nice and brown.
All right, let's talk about the ham hock there.
Okay, so anytime we make a soup, I like, especially a soup with black beans in it, I like to put a ham hock in it.
Lentil, split pea, a lot of bean soups kind of call out for that.
It has a nice smoky flavor, and I like, as the ham hock braises in that soup, it adds a lot of flavor, and then we'll take it out and chop it up.
Right. All right, so we're gonna put this in once the black beans go in, and then we have some spices that are gonna go in first. And the first one is one that people might not be familiar with, and that's a smoked paprika. It's a Spanish paprika, and it has a really lovely smoky flavor to it.
And if we had smell-o-vision right now, you could actually smell this. As soon as you open up the can, that smokiness just comes out and hits you right in the nose.
And the nice thing about this is that you could use it to rub steaks with.
Right.
I mean, I add it to sauces, tomato sauce. It's great. It gives it kind of a nice smoky, and it's all natural, the smoky, because the peppers have been smoked and then they're ground.
We also have a little bit of cumin here, and the cumin here is ground up. And a lot of times when we use cumin or any type of spices, we saute them to actually bring the flavor out. And that's what we're going to do with our soup here in just a second. And I also have a little bit of some dried oregano, and we're going to add that to it also.
All right, so we're going to put these spices in, and we're just going to give them a nice little saute. So some of our smoked paprika, some of the cumin, which I think smells like sunshine to me.
I always think of camping when I smell cumin.
It just has those great scents to it. And a little bit of oregano.
And we're going to saute those spices just a little bit.
And what that does is it really starts to bring those flavors out of the spices. It's just like when you toast nuts or roast coffee or any of those things, it kind of really helps to start rounding out the flavors.
So our sofrito is almost caramelized here. It's getting nice and brown.
Right around the edge is starting to get some nice color there.
Now we have some black beans here, and they're dry. You can cook them off ahead of time if you want to save a little time, but in this preparation, I think cooking them in one pot is the best way to go. You dirty one pot, and the time the beans are cooked, the soup has a chance to just, all the flavors in there just kind of mingle together.
Meld together. You can soak them if you think about it. Mingle and meld.
Mingle and meld.
Yes. You can soak these overnight in some cold water if you want, but I hardly ever think about it that far ahead of time, so I just throw them in. If you need a little extra liquid as you're cooking,
just add some more.
Just add a little more stock, or even a little water is fine.
So we're going to add our ham hock. We're going to add our beans.
That's probably good.
That looks good.
And then you're going to cover this with stock. And you're going to let this simmer for about an hour and a half or so. And then what happens, I'm going to swap out my two soups here. Let me get the ham hock out. Then you get this beautiful soup where everything starts to, as John said, mingle together in there.
Or melt.
Or meld.
Meld.
And we'll get the ham hock out. That's nice and tender. And we start seasoning the soup up. Does it need a little more smoked paprika? Does it need a little salt? We know it needs a little chocolate because we're going to finish this with a little bit of this bitter chocolate. Not a lot. You just want a little bit of chocolate. And this really gives it just this nice quality of kind of silky, creamy smoothness. And
luscious.
The better the chocolate, the faster it'll melt. So that goes right into the soup.
Okay, so I'm pulling off the meat from the ham hock here. And then we're going to chop this up. And you can see this beautiful meat in here. This is nice, tender meat. And adds a nice smokiness to it also.
Right.
So I'm going to chop that up.
We get the smoky from the paprika, and we also get it from the ham hock.
How's it tasting?
Needs some salt. You know what it needs? It needs some red hot.
Do you have some chocolate in it yet?
Mm-hmm. Red hot's right over there.
Red hot sauce right there.
So we got some red hot, which is a cayenne sauce. We're going to finish it with that. John's putting in our meat, and now you need to go get our bowls.
This looks good.
I like lots of red hot. I like it nice and tangy.
There we go.
And because the chocolate's so good and such a high quality, you shouldn't taste really strong chocolate in there. All you should taste is sort of a little bit of, kind of a hint of something, and then mostly you get it in the texture.
And to finish our black bean soup off with, you want to put a little bit sour cream. You have to have sour cream.
I think so. And a little bit of green onion, and you can serve a little spice on the side.
This one's mine, because it's got a lot of the sour cream.
Cheese.
There we go.
Little green onion.
And you have a great soup.
A delicious soup with chocolate. Ashland, Oregon is home to meandering parks, Shakespearean theater, and old world charms. This is an area rich in culinary and artistic treasures and a natural place for a temple to chocolate. That's what Dagoba means, and for Frederick Schilling, the name was a perfect match for a company dedicated to creating something divine. Is that candy bars right there?
No, it's chocolate.
Is it going
There's
to
a
be
big
candy
difference
bars?
between candy and chocolate.
Yes?
Yeah,
Yes?
in my opinion.
So you don't call that a candy bar, you call it a chocolate bar.
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Why?
Chocolate's a food.
Right?
It comes from a bean.
Right?
Candy is,
Junk.
that's one of my gospels, is that chocolate is a food. It's not a candy.
Well, and it's more and more research has come out about how good it is for you, right? And especially the darker, the better. Dagoba is the nation's only dedicated organic chocolate factory. And for Frederick, it's been a labor of love to master the art of chocolate alchemy.
Set up a very small operation where I hand poured every bar and hand wrapped every bar for the first year and a half.
Now he has more help creating everything from cocoa powder and drinking chocolate to an amazing variety of bars. All of it organic and most of it certified fair trade. The production is every bit as magical as Mr. Wonka could imagine. Okay, we're at the best part. And that's the tasting part. And this is just a tiny little bit of what you guys do, right?
Yeah.
This is where the alchemy comes in. Frederick has a culinary background and is creating combinations most people wouldn't ever think of putting together. But the results are amazing.
Our #1 seller, the chocolate, which is based on the Aztec formula for chocolate. I use a Peruvian ají amarillo chili. It's not like a cayenne where it's a upfront biting. It's more of a mild and a building heat that comes towards the end. The lavender also is one of my personal favorites. It's also one of our top sellers. And this one also is one of my personal favorites. It's
No,
a
they've all
mint.
been your personal favorites so
Right. It's mint, but with a hint of rosemary.
I saw that.
And I love that. Now we have the rosemary.
This is one of my personal favorites.
Slight tartness and a lot of romance.
The more I work with it, the more I love it. It's a beautiful food.
All right, we're gonna make our dessert now. It's a silky, sumptuous chocolate tart.
dessert.
Yes.
This is the sweet part. We made the savory part.
Yep. And this is easy. It's gonna look like you worked all day for this tart, and we've decided that even you could make this.
What's that crack for? I'm not a big dessert maker, so she thinks it's pretty easy.
I know.
This is complicated.
No, it isn't. It's easy.
This is like making souffles.
No, it isn't.
Well, this is pretty easy. I can make this dessert.
All right. In this bowl, we have some ground chocolate cookies.
Which are these little guys here.
Mm-hmm. There's also a little bit of sugar in there to get started on our crust. So this is how easy it is. You don't even have to make a crust barely. You grind up some cookies, throw some sugar in the bowl, and then we also have some chocolate nibs.
Cocoa nibs.
Yeah, and that's the inside of the cocoa bean. And will you grab one of those for
Yeah,
me?
they have a little bitterness to them, don't they?
They're more nutty.
Nutty.
Like you.
Like
This one, of course, I can't crack open, but it's the inside of the bean, and then there's the hull of the bean there, the hull.
somewhere in there.
And this is all the nib in here. And it's got this nutty kind of chocolate flavor, but it's not sweet at all. It's actually really good in savory things.
Okay.
So that's
now-
going to go in. That's just for a little texture and to be different.
So we have sugar, the nibs, the cookies, and how we bring it all together is a little melted butter.
Right.
And that's it.
Right. So, you know, anybody can do this.
Quit saying that. I know who you're referring to.
All right, a little bit of melted butter. And you want to do a little bit at a time.
So we'll mix this up.
Might be a little warm, so be careful.
And we just want it to kind of come together.
And I'll show you how you know it's the right texture. Because you could make this actually with any kind of ground cookie or ground nut. I also do one where it's cookie and coconut and cashews. And I'll show you how you tell when it's done. First of all, you want to make sure that it's well moistened with the butter.
And then, don't you smush it together?
Yes, so grab a bit in your hand, smush your hand together, and see how it's kind of breaking apart here? Needs a little more butter in there to help it hold together. So a little more.
All right.
I just don't want to do too much because then it starts to get kind of greasy.
Okay, now I think it's coming together.
All right, let's see. Do the test. I think it's your hands.
It's just me. It's working.
There you go. It's good. It's nice and solid. If you tap it and it doesn't fall apart, then that's exactly what you're looking for.
Just dump it in?
Dump it in. So it kind of seems strange to just kind of dump it in, but what I want you to do is I want you to dump in the crust, and then you want to flatten it out. And then you're going to start pushing up the sides, just like that.
How am I doing?
You're doing amazingly well. You wouldn't have known you've gone to cooking school.
It's not nice.
I'm teasing, you know it.
Hurt my feelings.
All right, so John went all around, up the sides, and then now he just pressed it to the wall. And when you do this at home, you'll make sure it's nice and even and perfect. And now what I want you to do is while you're making the filling, you can pop that in the refrigerator for about 15 minutes to up to 30 minutes.
Should I do that?
No.
Okay.
Just leave it right here.
Leave it right here.
Why don't you go wash your hands?
I am.
All right, well, John's washing his hands. We're going to work on the truffle filling. Now, in the summertime, you could pile this thing with raspberries on top, and you can also do strawberries. So you could do poached pears in the fall, so you can really use this any time of year. We're going to start with some chocolate. We have 12 ounces. This is a lot of chocolate.
What kind of chocolate is that?
This is some Dagoba, a good bittersweet chocolate, lots of cocoa in it, about 72%.
I think so. So
and
it's
look
not
at,
very sweet.
No, it's not really sweet. And look at my hands. That's how good the chocolate is, because when you have a really high quality chocolate, it has lots of cocoa butter in it.
Right.
And so it melts really quickly.
Yeah, melts very fast.
So that's how you know if you've got a good quality chocolate, is that it melts so much faster. All right, now we're going to take about 1.5 cups of heavy cream.
And do you have to use heavy cream?
You have to use heavy cream. This is not a time to skimp.
We're not messing around here.
No, no, you don't want to skimp. This is dessert. Just have a little tiny piece. You don't have to have a big piece.
I can't believe someone could eat a huge piece that's like that big.
No, it's really a rich dessert.
Now in the restaurant we have this other dessert. It's called a chocolate turtle torte.
Yeah.
It takes 2 days to make this dessert.
Right.
And we have sweet little old ladies come in. They're probably about that tall, maybe weigh 100 pounds, and I see them put a whole one away, like at 9 o'clock at night. I could never do that.
That is a big dessert. It's got nuts and caramel, chocolate mousse, chocolate ganache, and all of that would be great with this chocolate Dagoba. It's such good chocolate.
It's a big dessert.
And the fact that Dagoba is doing organic chocolate in Oregon, I mean, when I found that out, I thought that was so cool. We make so many products here, but I didn't think we were making chocolate.
Well, we were shooting a show and we were doing blue cheese at the Rogue Valley Creamery, right? Mm-hmm. And then we found out that Dagoba was just basically right down the street.
Yeah, and since then, they've actually moved to Ashland because they've grown so fast. This guy Frederick started making candy bars in his kitchen in Denver, Colorado. And as it grew, he decided that he wanted to move to a different place and kind of wanted to come to Oregon, but wanted a little more sunshine. So he decided to go to Ashland where there's a little more sunshine.
A little more sunshine there.
So will you hand me, we're almost up to a boil here. Will you hand me some dark rum? So we're going to put in a little dark rum in the filling. You could put framboise, you could put some eau de vie in, you could leave it, not do any. You could put some brandy in, your favorite flavor.
I think we should put some rum in.
Rum is good, Tuaca is good. So I'll put a couple tablespoons of dark rum in. I'm going to put a little bit of vanilla in.
Well, you know what would be good in this also is some toasted coconut.
Yeah, I put toasted coconut sometimes in the crust, which is really great.
That would be great.
Would you hand me one of those whisks?
All right.
Now, Grand Marnier is making a new vanilla brandy. That would be great in this. It'd be really delicious. All right, you want to make sure this is coming up to a rolling boil. So you want it really to be boiling. And then what we're going to do is we're going to shut the heat off and we're going to put the chocolate in and just whisk it till it's smooth. And that's it. The filling's done. I mean, how much easier could it be?
Sounds kind of complicated to me.
Stop it. Stop. You could do this.
Is it boiling yet?
Yes, you could. Yep. All right, so I'm going to shut the heat off because we do not want the heat to be on with all that chocolate. And then you just whisk.
This is kind of like making chocolate ganache.
Basically, it's chocolate ganache with a little bit more cream in it so that it can cut later.
So as soon as you whisk it, it all comes together pretty simple.
Look at that. Ooh,
You could just eat this the way it is.
You could just drink it as a beverage,
Put
too.
some berries in a glass, like a martini glass, and just pour this chocolate over the top of it with a little whipped cream. You're ready to go.
All right.
All right. So
This will be coming out of the refrigerator. So it would be coming out of the refrigerator, and then you would pour this yummy filling in. Ooh, look at that.
that looks good. Chocolatey good. Man.
And you'd be good about scraping the bottom out and stuff.
So let's kind of even it out here a little bit.
Yeah, so John's just shaking it to make sure it's nice and even. And then you want to refrigerate this for about 2 hours. You can make it overnight.
Overnight's fine.
Yeah.
'Cause then you know it's going to be totally set up.
Yeah, but it does set up surprisingly fast.
You get a straw.
All right, so put that one in the back and let's bring our one up that's been chilled. And actually, for this chocolate tart, it's kind of nice if you can bring it out just a little bit ahead of time. Chocolate is so much better when it's a little warmer and not ice cold. So look at this, it's like shiny, almost like a mirror. It's so beautiful. And some of that is because of that great chocolate.
Oh, it's time
How
to
about,
eat chocolate.
I need a knife and whipped cream.
I have all that here.
Let's slide that up here a little bit.
Some whipped cream. Get you a knife.
So if you're doing this for a party and you want the pieces to look perfect, make sure your knife is hot or you have some like tea water to dip the knife in and then clean it off. That'll give you nice, clean pieces.
You don't have to cut big pieces.
No.
Small pieces. This is so rich and so decadent. You don't need that.
No, and you know, we think dessert's a great thing, but you don't have it every night, and you definitely don't have this kind of dessert every night.
That looks so good.
It's like fudgy,
All right.
fudgy yummy.
Let's get some whipped cream.
So in reality, this little tart could probably serve easily 12 people, don't you think?
Our family, 12. 6? 6.
We
We wouldn't want to give this. Yeah, I was gonna say we wouldn't want to give this to Alex. It'd be bad news.
Yeah, our son Alex would go to town with that.
Okay. So
a
a little whipped cream.
In the summertime, berries, just simply whipped cream if there's not really much in season. And then you
Ooh,
can
that
just
looks
do
good.
a little tiny bit of the chocolate over the top. Just very simple, very elegant.
So we have our 2 dishes. One savory.
One sweet, luscious chocolate. I mean, chocolate has been used throughout the centuries as,
It's been around before man, I think.
well, I don't know, but the Aztecs used to drink it before they went into battle, and it was a very bitter, sort of savory drink. So they didn't start putting sugar in chocolate till much later. It started out more savory than sweet. But I think they did a great thing when they made it a little sweet, too.
Well, with the chocolatey dessert, I think you need a nice, rich red wine.
Mm-hmm. And we're drinking Merlot from Del Rio Vineyards, which is also close to where Dagoba is. So it's kind of a little Southern Oregon show today.
So while enjoying your Merlot, which we're drinking here, which would go great with, I think, our dessert.
Well, you have to be careful with dessert and wine.
Just a little bit, perhaps. Maybe some port.
Port would be better. But with the soup, I think the Merlot would be really nice because that smoky and the Merlot would go really well together. And the only thing I worry about with red wine and chocolate is that it starts to make the wine seem a little bit acidic.
Acidic?
So you have to be careful.
Well, enjoy your red wine with chili. I mean, your looks like chili. It's black bean soup.
So try chocolate in some dishes that are a little bit savory.
And a little bit sweet.
And a little bit sweet. And you should always remember to eat your chocolate every day.
That's a good, I'm going to do that.
Cheers.
To learn more about Caprial and John's Kitchen or to find recipes featured on this program, visit our website at www.caprialandjohnskitchen.com.
National funding for Caprial and John's Kitchen was provided by Travel Oregon. Travel information is available at traveloregon.com.
And by Decor, ranges, wall ovens, cooktops, dishwashers, and outdoor grills for discerning cooks. Available nationwide at select dealers and showrooms. Decor. And Schoon Cutlery, Schoon by Kai USA Limited. Cutlery for the ultimate kitchen connoisseur, available at fine cutlery and kitchen stores. And by Pear Bureau Northwest.
Lost?
No, you got lost. I found you. Oh, bring him.
It's all over your nose.
Spicy?
Spicy, Dad?
Spicy?